Bonjour, salut, welcome to DB2 Bets, brought to you by Betstamp, where we use the Betstamp app and find the best odds available across all the different sports books out there in Ontario and across North America, and by Yup Beer. Find a Yup Beer at yupbeer.com and find a location near you. What's going on? Josh Elijah, I'm your host, coming to you from Montreal, Quebec.
Oh shit.
How you doing, boys? What's going on?
What's up, just buddy? Chilling.
You overloaded with poutine or what?
Yeah. Oh, buddy, don't you know it? It's been insane down here. First of all, shout out to our boy Mike Fulmer, who is actually heading over to Kelowna, heading over to your way there, Georgie. So he's not with us today. But we got my boy up there in the corner, Birdman. How you doing, baby?
Yo. Good. Had a crazy week, but I'm here, ready to go.
Dude, it's been a crazy week. We'll definitely jump right into it. I gotta give my shout out to our guest on the show. He's a homie of mine, man. It's been a gosh darn minute since we had our boy George Lambrakos, aka Zimmy, aka the Greek Freak, aka Giannis's anus, my dude. How you doing? What's up, baby? AKA Booker's butt boy. What's going on?
That's the nickname.
Just calling out all my trash Yahoo fantasy names.
Yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, dude. Montreal's been pretty crazy. Definitely a lot of good eats. One thing I really do love about this city is that, like, it's come summertime, like the city, I feel it's full of life, and there's everyone here in Montreal is just so active as well, and I love it. I find that a little bit more than even Toronto, I would find, because like just the culture of getting up on a bike and biking around and everywhere. Like I took the metro today to go do a little bit of shopping, and like the subways are empty because
so
everyone's
nice
just
too.
Yeah, man, it's so beautiful. Like, it is like I'm up at the plateau right now. We're staying with some really good friends who are obviously very into their horticulture, and as they have a pretty sweet plant setup to see back here. Yo, there's one over there at the top left. This thing's like worth a couple $100. Her name is Jessica Elbow because it's an elbow plant. So shout out Nikki Dryberg and her fucking collection of sick plants. Definitely giving me a little bit more oxygen. Here.
I decided to match your energy with the purple.
Exactly. Yes, man. Yeah, we got some good vibes going on over here. But yeah, no, Montreal, fantastic. Had some been doing some shows as well. Had a chance to go do a show down over in Crescent. Did a place called it was the Brass Door. Great spot on a Sunday. So if you're listening to this from Montreal, go check them out on a Sunday for some stand-up. It was hilarious because like my buddy Morgan O'Shea booked me on this show, and he's like, "Yeah, I got you an out-of-town spot sort of thing." I'm like, "Yeah, sweet, awesome. It would be great to catch up." Went to do the show. Show was great. It was fucking packed out on a Sunday, a rainy Sunday, which is no better feeling than going into a venue and just being like, and just having a packed out crowd, even with shitty weather going down.
It's a vibe.
It definitely is a vibe. But then I come up and the book is just like, so do you want me to say anything about you? And I'm like, no, man, it's all good. And he's just like, well, where are you from? And I'm like, Toronto. And he's like, oh, okay, so you have 5 minutes. I give you the light. And I'm like, I thought I had 10. So it was definitely like, he's like, oh, Toronto. Okay.
He's like, oh, you a Leafs fan. Fuck you.
Yeah. Ontario honky. You get 5. Sank. And then I'm like, I'm pretty sure I had 10. And then he came up after, and then he was just like, he just had all these Toronto Maple Leafs jokes to go on immediately after me. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So you cut my time so you can do your Maple Leafs jokes. I completely get it. It's all good. I mean, that's comedy. But yeah, man, it's been good. It's been sweet down here. And then we just got back from Montreal. Did a bit of glamping up there, bit of canoeing, bit of hikes. Right, a little couple Scoobies, if you know what I mean. So it's been a treat. Just came back, smelling like bonfire and sweaty asshole, but it's great to be back in the city.
Yeah, the shirt's open. He's in vacation mode, even though he used to do that in the office too.
Oh yeah, this is definitely fucking Dutch Bistro vibes right here too. Just not gonna let him fly.
Me just rubbing your chest beside you while we're closing deals. Everyone's like, "You guys are fucked.
Yo, and Billy too. Billy's got my back. You got my front. Yeah, it's fucking.
Yeah, you're getting a massage from Billy. You're like, keep it coming, Billy. I'm sitting in your lab.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. It's been sweet. But yo, George, you've been out. You just got back from Tofino. Tell me what's going on with you, buddy.
Yeah, man, just ripping and rolling with the misses. We've just been. August comes in. Same thing here. The weather comes out. The shirts come off, and we party. It is a little bit of a challenge trying to actually work and be a normal human, because it's just like you want to embrace your like inner nomad out here so quickly. You see these people living in their, or I was going to say dirty hippies living in their vans, and you're like, I want to be like you.
Yeah, but that's what it is. And it's like, yo, sick.
And then you see them on the side of the road with a broken down old like 1988 GMC van, and you're like, this is why I'm not like you. Goodbye.
Yeah. Ew, I think your van's sweet though. I really want one of those vans. They're fucking bumping. Man.
We chilling, baby. We chilling.
Yo, and I gotta say, man, congratulations as well on getting engaged. Like that is
hell yeah.
That is fucking huge. Cheers, my man. Like fucking super excited for you and the missus. So yeah, man, that's sweet that you guys have just been having a great summer. And just been rocking out and just doing your thing, and that's it's been great because we missed you, man. We've been doing this every week.
That battery emoji finally ran out, and Georgie boy just disappeared.
Just disappeared off socials. Yes.
Yeah, man. Running low, and then it's funny when we had Bunkus on. He was like, "Dude, I'll come back on the show if you change your goddamn emoji or your logo profile." So that was the last thing I did. I switched it to Jose Canseco.
Yeah, that's
Bunkus.
right.
So I was like, "See, I did this for you, bud." And goodbye.
Yeah, and goodbye. Yeah, man. Yeah, shout out JD. That was a great time to have him on right before you ended up going dark on the socials. So I wanted to ask you though, before we jump into anything here, what's it like? What is it? I mean, like for me, like I literally just got reception a couple hours ago. So I mean, I've been off the grid for like the last 4 days or so, but that's nothing compared to like obviously just going your entire life now without having any sort of socials. Like, what is it like? Because like for me, I think the toughest part like was obviously not talking to like my boys, like not talking to Jesse like literally every day, but like not knowing what the fuck is going on with sports. Bad enough, it's just like I'm like, what, like has Katie been traded? Like have the Jays been? Have they been taking care of the Orioles? And obviously they haven't been, but we'll be able to get into that in a bit. But what is it like? What is it like?
It's beautiful. It's a safe space. It's you know what, it was a little bit of challenge because there's still days where I'm like, God damn it, like I wish I could be looking at this account, or just some of that consistent content you do get from like actual good sports stuff. Like there was some cool mecha basketball stuff like that, but it's good because it limited the noise of all the other shit that was just pissing me off.
Yeah,
like the infographics and the political side. Like Instagram just became such an outlet of opinion, and now I don't have that. I feel free of people's batshit opinions that I really don't give a shit about.
It lost a lot of its like funness, if you know what I mean. Like it just got too serious. Like I totally understand why you did that.
Yeah, and that was you missed the communication with your boys, right? Like, but you know what? It fueled the phone call. It fueled the outside, because there would be times where I'd be like, Josh, you just texted me, you sent me an Instagram message, and we're also talking on Facebook. Like, what the fuck? Like, what?
Dude,
can we streamline?
Yeah, man. Like, it's crazy.
And they're all different conversations too.
They all have different things. That, like, all different contexts. And like I talk about, like I noticed that too. Like there's some people that I solely talk to on Instagram, like Bird, and then like if I send him like a text message, it's just like, ew, what is this? Like an SMS? Like yeah, man, just leave me like an audio message on Instagram.
I just reply to it on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I know exactly what you mean, man. I know what you mean. And for me, like social media, I mainly use it for sports, and we have our group chats where we talk about our bets, and we have our group chats where we just talk about like anything to do with sports. I got a group chat with some boys that are like specifically like me, Mike, and a few other guys that is just like golf memes. Like that's literally all it is. And so like that for me is what I do love social media about, and then just resharing whatever shit Amanda posts me in. But aside from that, because you gotta give that reshare. But yeah, aside from that, I definitely, if it wasn't for sports, I probably wouldn't be as frequent of a social media user, to say the least.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But good to see you. Good to see you, though.
You guys too.
Good to have you back on. Let's jump into it. I've been banking. I'm hoping on you guys to be able to kind of fill me in. Like I mentioned, I just got reception back and trying to catch up with what I missed this week. So we're going to be leaning you on for these bets here, George. Let's start off with our bets for Friday, August the 12th. Obviously brought to you by Betstamp. So make sure you check out betstamp.app/Ontario and use promo code DB2 to be able to sign up to any of these sports books and take advantage of any of those sign-up bonuses. If you're outside of the province, for example, George, someone like George who lives in BC, make sure that you should already actually have the Betstamp app. Download it on the App Store or Google Play Store, and then go to your account and add that referral code DB2 in there, and be able to sign up to all of these amazing sports books that are out there to offer. So make sure you do that. Make sure you're just on top of that while you listen to this episode. Do it now while you're listening. Do it right now.
What the fuck are you waiting for?
But we have a few nice picks. We're hammering the run line for you for these Friday, August the 12th games. And let's kick it off. Let's kick it off with some Blue Jay action. Let's talk about our Jays for a bit. Last time that we really sort of touched on stuff was actually last week after the trade deadline. We talked a little bit, and we gave them a B grade for their trade deadline acquisitions. Georgie boy, I would love to just be able to pick your brain a little bit on that, and how have they been performing since the trade deadline, and how you kind of think that Ross Atkins and the crew did after the trade deadline.
Yeah, well, I think B grade is kind of maybe optimistic, but not really. I don't know. I think it's on par.
B minus maybe.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I obviously had some expectations of a little bit more coming through, like the way of a starting pitcher, but
yeah,
you heard so much chatter about like the price that teams were going to have to pay to give that up, and you look at what we ended up having to give up to acquire some of that talent on the relief side from the Marlins, like that. Yeah, we had to give up Jordan Groshans, who's a top 5 prospect, which was, to me, I was kind of shocked, right? Because when you're looking at that last year, a top 5 prospect got us Jose Barrios, right?
Yeah.
We did obtain 2 guys, so there's some good things there. Obviously, rounding out the bullpen with a little bit more of a power arm, but.
And are you okay with Bass and Pop?
I like Bass a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was reading through the deep archive blogs of MLB trade rumors. If you guys haven't checked that out, it's a great site from an information perspective. But the Marlins fans were saying he is terrible in high leverage situations. I don't know if that was just an angry take. But
sounds a bit like it.
Yeah, and then first game he shows up, he gets put into a spot and he gives up a home run, right? So I did like the moves. I really don't think we're too far away from where we need to be. We're a competing team. We're a top 10 baseball team, right? Obviously, we would have liked to have seen another arm to come there to kind of round out that 4th and 5th spot. But I think they did pretty well overall. Yeah.
Even on the flip side of it, when you look at Marlins fans, I mean, like, they're also not like super. I mean, they might not know who Groshans is. I mean, like, yeah, sure, top 5 prospect, but they're just like, oh, great, like another infielder who can't hit for power. So it's just like, it's like, yeah, you know what? I think Bass is a great reliever. He's just not as sexy of a name as everyone was looking for. Like I've mentioned before as well. Pop, I definitely think it's funny that we got him back. But yeah, man,
we got both of them back.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like it is what it is. I feel like I like the beefing up the pen a little bit. Mitch White, you were just alluding to, with the price you had to pay for a top arm that will, I mean, maybe the actual crop to be able to choose from right now wasn't really the juiciest. So you might be paying through the nose for what was available for like Castillo. But I guess, the price probably was a little bit too much for someone like Noah Syndergaard. And we were chatting all day, and maybe we just got Mitch White on a bit of a discount.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's a little bit of a dumpster dive, and to that regard, in my opinion, I think it was like a little bit of a last minute. All right, we need something. Where can we find it? Are we going to find another kind of Ross Stripling style pitcher that can give us a little bit of a stretch on relief and starting? So I kind of didn't really love that one. The one thing that does intrigue me, but also kind of scares me, was the acquisition of Whit Merrifield, right? Because we've been consistently rounding out that center field and outfield position. And to me, that means that they are nervous with Georgie Boy's elbow situation there.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were freaking out. They're like, why would we do this? We didn't need this. And I was like, okay, we clearly need to fill some plugs in the outfield, and maybe we're going to go with some lefty righty matchups, but that it scares me. I did like that piece though. I thought a big part was kind of rounding out the bench, right? Bradley Zimmer hitting 176 is kind of unacceptable.
Yeah, but we saw that. I think we both called that as soon as we saw the notification. We were like, yeah, Zimmer, cool. But Merrifield does play the infield as well. So he's just a great utility player with a lot of speed. You can get great on leadoff. I personally, I really did like it. Everyone's just like, he's having a shitty year. He's just like, he's not hitting. He's not even a lefty, but it's just like, man, I think it definitely just rounds out our offense and our fielding really well. And I could also see that being the case where it's just like when it comes time to pay someone like Teo, maybe we don't, because we're going to have to start being selective with who we start dishing out contracts to, because we're going to have to pay Vladdy. We're going to have to pay some of these people. And like, maybe this is thinking a little bit ahead where it's just like you get someone on Whit Merrifield for a discount because, hey, you don't pay him that much.
No.
He's definitely got a pretty easy contract.
He's doubles, and they definitely put it in a position where they bought low on him, right? They totally bought low on him, in my opinion. So I actually like that deal. Was it necessary? I don't know. Maybe Springer's got more of a concern with his elbow, which I actually think is the case.
Seems like
it. It seems bad. I don't really know. I'm not a doctor, but just watching the guy grimacing and like trying to play through it is definitely mildly concerning. So hopefully.
Well, with that being said, let's jump into our picks now for Friday, August 12th, and we're going to lead it off with our boys, Toronto Blue Jays, as they take on the Cleveland Guardians the Guardians. Which, you know what, I mean, like, didn't really care for the name when they first switched it. I still don't. But it's fine. It's fine. It's also just Cleveland, so it's like, yeah, you get what you get. So it's the Cleveland Guardians against the Toronto Blue Jays as they open up a 3-game series in TO, starting off with a pitching matchup. We got Quantrill against Barrios. Why are we taking the Blue Jays on the run line there, Georgie?
So I like the Blue Jays here just because we've had two big days of rest. I think that Baltimore game was actually a blessing for our team, for our bullpen, for our starters.
Yes.
Looking at Barrios too, from his game log, he tends to have a bounce back game after a bad game, which is kind of annoying that we have to observe and say that that's a reason why we're going to make this. But every time we see him, the guy has 2 bad games, 1 bad game. He generally comes back, especially with that extra game of rest. It definitely benefits him. And Cleveland, Cleveland has been hot, but they're coming off Detroit. I think the Jays are going to come up big on this, especially after having a little bit of a rough 10-game stretch. So I'm feeling pretty confident they're going to put up some runs and smack that run line.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we're definitely confident with this, taking the Blue Jays on the run line. Again, that's by a run and a half, that we're taking the Jays to win by basically more than a run. And the best odds that we were able to find were at plus 115 over at Bet99. Bet99 always taking care of us there. So they definitely have some good value on the run line there. And you know what? You're right. And we were talking about this just before we started recording with Barrios. It's almost like you can count on him to have 2 quality starts followed by a not good one. And so this one kind of falls right in line with that, doesn't it?
Yeah, and if you've ever owned him in fantasy, you know that, because you're like, why does this guy have a 4.5 ERA and is having 3 games in a row where he's K'ing out 8-9 guys, going 6.5, going 7, and then he has these like can't get out of the third inning, can't get out of the first inning, gives up 8 runs, right? Inflates his ERA, and you're like, what the hell just happened here? How are you so good then so bad one day, right? Obviously, he's trying to figure some things out. I don't know what it is. If it's his slide, I think it ends up being a location issue, right? Always. So
and when it's on, it's on. So I mean, it's I definitely think this could be it. Quantrill, or we were talking about what his the pitches are looking like, and what he actually throws. And you're saying that the Jays right now they're not playing particularly well or hitting against pitchers that throw that sinker.
Yeah, sinker downward action, hard downward action, they do typically get a little ripped up. So the only concern there would be looking at Quantrill's throwing that. I think he's throwing his sinker about like 45 to 46% of the time, right? So everything he's using, he throws his fastball like 3.5% out of all pitches. So
that's insane.
Wow. Yeah, which is crazy. And you've looked at some of our at bats with some of those guys that are not necessarily hard throwing, but have that downward action. Like I think we were talking about, like Nestor Cortez.
Yeah,
nasty Nestor comes in and just seems to kind of destroy the Blue Jays with that down sinker action. And I think it's just because they're free swinging nature. They love to swing the bat. They're going for it, and they get it to drive the ball into the ground on that sinker. So something to look out for. But I do feel really good about the offense kind of having a little bit of a breakout moment here, especially after a couple really tough, close losses over the last 3-4 games, right?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I definitely do like it. There just wasn't enough value to be able to take them on the actual money line there. So we are feeling confident with taking them on the run line. So again, by more than a run at plus 115 on Bet99 as Barrios takes on Quantrill to kick off this 3-game series. As long as the Blue Jays do stay a bit more patient, because like a lot of swings and misses, and it's just them swinging out of their heels. I mean, Bo Bichette obviously is like with his recent struggles over the past few weeks, just has to be patient, and they have to be able to lay off that sinker, especially if he's throwing it 45% of the time, to let that fall out of the strike zone. And then wait for him to be able to throw some of those other pitches that he might not be as confident with. So
yeah, exactly. Sit fastball, wait for that trash cutter to fall over and get going on it.
So obviously, as the Blue Jays are listening to this, they can just take my word of advice and just lay off that sinker a little bit there, boys. And
Pete Walker, get in the head a little bit, boys. Yeah,
my boy Pete. Yeah, I'll just text him.
They're
gonna take this video into the dressing room and
let's check out this, boys. This guy might be onto something. But again, we're taking the Blue Jays a little bit. We're taking the Blue Jays run line there, plus 115 on Bet99. Moving along, we're going. This is fun. We had to be able to touch this, but we're going over to the Washington Nationals as they take on Slam Diego. As Juan Soto makes his return to Washington very soon, with just a mere week or so of having the trade deadline. So
is there a prop on Soto's tears? Is there a prop?
Take the under on it. Take the under hard. It might be half a tier. Take the under. Great value on
tears of joy, if anything.
Great value on,
exactly.
How can you quantify? Yeah, was this a tear of joy or a tear of sadness? Yeah.
I mean, they're tears. I mean, I don't think you have the ump out there licking them. You're like, this one's extra salty. It's sad.
That's a sad tear.
It's a sad tear.
Salty.
But Bert, this was actually your recommendation that we should actually be touching this game. So by all means, I mean, man, this is a great game to chat about. What are you thinking?
I just feel like it's like set up perfectly. You've got Soto returning to Washington. Washington is so bad. Like, they've got nobody now. And I think the Padres have been on a bit of a losing streak since they got him. So what better night to break out, put up some runs than this game? I just feel like it's like a movie, bro. It's like a movie.
Yeah, what I'm saying. The writing on the wall.
Man. I love just the immediate turnaround too. Where it's just like a week later, it's like, oh, here we go. This is the matchup that everyone's looking for right now.
Yeah, exactly. I
So
think he's
absolutely.
gonna want to put on a performance, and then
Oh, yeah.
you've got the rest of the lineup, which is friggin' stacked. So I don't know. I like it. I like
Not for
them.
nothing,
I
man.
like them for this one.
Absolutely. I mean, they like you look at the Padres. They completely beefed up. I mean, with the return of like Tatis, and then but not only that, but like picking up Drury at
Yeah.
Yeah, and they popped Bell in there too.
at the trade deadline, former Blue Jay who's been having himself a hell of a campaign. Yeah, it's definitely an exciting game to put money on. So we were actually able to find it at reasonable odds here. When we were just doing a little bit of line shopping, which is what you do with Betstamp, the best odds that were available were actually with the run line at 2.5 runs. So that meaning obviously that the San Diego Padres need to win by more than 2 runs in order for your bet to win. However, with line shopping, we were actually able to find a 1.5 run line. So the Padres only need to win by 1 run or more, more than 1 run actually. And with that being said, we found it at minus 133 on Sports Interaction. So we locked and loaded that as
Not
soon as we could.
bad.
That's some
Not bad
really
at
good
all.
value on not
That's
a
the beauty of
large
Betstamp right
margin.
there.
That's it in a nutshell, man. That is absolutely it. And you look at let's talk a little bit, Georgie, about this pitching matchup because we got Clevenger, who is great, and then we got your boy Abbott.
Yeah, your boy Abbott. And I'm not too encouraged for our boy Abbott.
That's your boy.
You know what?
How about not for Abbott?
Not Abbott. I would be pretty nervous if I was him looking at like the Soto, Machado, Bell kind of 2, 3, 4 in the lineup, especially too. They're coming off of like a 16-hit game against the Giants where they stacked 13 runs. So I think they're going to be rolling with that momentum into this game because they started out of the trade deadline and everyone was like, okay, we got to give them time for this offense to just kind of mesh. And I think that's starting to happen. And I think it's the protection that Soto is going to bring to Machado and the guys in Bell around him. It's going to be pretty filthy. I think I'd be pretty nervous. And then Tatis comes back in and they're like,
is he coming back tomorrow?
I'm not sure. It had been announced. I think he's coming back pretty soon.
Yeah,
I know he was on the 60-day, but he comes back and it's scary stuff, dude. But Clevenger, Clevenger's been decent, better than decent, I think.
Serviceable,
Yeah, more than serviceable. Obviously, he's not like at the level that he was when he was with Cleveland, when he was just a machine. I guess the Tommy John obviously probably gave him a big step back.
Of course.
But he's been looking good. I think he's going to come out and put at least 5-6 strikeouts on, especially on the trash matchup that we're seeing. So
yeah,
I'm feeling good about that. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, yeah, I think the Padres to be able to, I mean, especially that, most sports books are actually having them by more than 2 runs on the run line and pushing that run line a bit more. Obviously, there's more bang for your buck when you do that, but playing it on the safe side here, just in case, the San Diego Pen, like, who knows? I mean, Washington, I mean, they didn't even get Hosmer out of all this. And like, it's so obviously they actually did clean up on this trade. They definitely did. They got a ton of prospects.
All future stuff.
Yeah.
So
huge stuff.
That being said,
big trade.
We're talking about tomorrow, or we're talking about Friday, August 12th, and looking at this matchup, we're going to take the San Diego Padres on that run line, 1.5 runs, minus 133 on Sports Interaction. Shout out Sports Interaction, great sports book, fantastic app. Make sure that definitely support Canadian sports books as well, as they are Canadian. So a great sports book to be able to place your bets on. So shout out to them. Moving along. We got a couple more picks here, and we're gonna at this one is pretty it's kind of on that same sort of level as the Padres. We got the LA Dodgers against the Kansas City Royals. Talk to us, Georgie. Why are we taking this one?
Well,
is it because it's the LA fucking Dodgers?
The Dodgers are going to win this game by a lot, 100%. You never know. It's obviously
we never use the L word. We don't ever say it's a lock. We don't call things free money. last time we had someone on the show that called it free money, we lost every one of our picks.
Shit, okay.
we don't
Yeah.
use free money or lock. For those of you who do,
That was
listen,
the day
you know that
word
we don't.
died.
Yeah, that word. Yeah, well, he said it. Then we're like, no. It's already recorded.
Don't do it.
But yeah,
no,
Dodgers.
I like it. I like our boy Tony Gasolino, the pride of
Gasolino.
VK California. But I think
not Italian, but looks like he could be.
It's so funny. I see his name and I don't see it as it's properly like written. I just see Gasolino. I don't know why. Maybe it's because his first name's Tony. He's got the beard and like, the ponytail.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony,
yeah.
what are you gonna do? You're 13-1, 102 Ks. Let's go.
Dude, he's putting together a Cy Young campaign. So
pretty impressive, man. I think that's
sure
a
is
big factor in the matchup. Like Daniel Lynch, Royals.
It's Daniel Lynch. Yeah.
He might be better than Kikuchi, but I'm just, you're looking up the matchup, you're looking at the pitching matchup, and you're looking at the teams. So, we're going to lean on this one hard, but again, boys, baseball is baseball, and
of course,
screwed things can happen. And, Tony could fall and break his knee before the game, and we got a whole different odd. So
then you just have to face the Dodgers pen. So it's like
exactly,
it's not going to be any easier for the Royals,
which are better than their starting lineup.
Exactly. So I mean, you're looking at a team who was sellers at the deadline here. The Royals, it is really crazy when you look at teams like the Royals and you look at teams like the Nationals, who recently, within the last decade, have won World Series. And that is it. Like, you built it up to that, and you are not looking to contend like shortly after that as well. Because you look at Kansas City and you might look at Washington, and they're mid-market teams. Like, they're not like one of those big market teams. And so they put everything in their baskets, and they all their eggs in one basket, and they obviously come out at the end with a World Series title. And then, like, just a few years down the line, it's just downhill, and they have to end up blowing it up.
Most teams are like that, though. Like, that's just how it works. Like, look at the Cubs too. Like, the teams just aren't the same after they've won, because usually you've sold the farm and traded players to acquire big pieces, and it's on expiring deals, and then that's it, right? But
I mean,
as long as you get your championship, that's what matters.
Obviously, a lot of it comes to, the way the organization is ran. And so, I mean, that might speak a little bit to some of these teams as well, even when you look at the Cubs. But I mean, you just have like the same, like the usual suspects. You got the Dodgers, and you got the Yankees, and the Astros. They're always there too.
Yeah,
so
fair
it's
enough.
it is what it is. It is what it is. But KC, looking basically just starting over again. So yeah, absolutely. This is just a game here that the Dodgers should win easily, opening up this series. And it is in KC. Does that matter?
I don't think so.
Don't think so. It's the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So,
you look at Gosselin's, like, you look at his road stats. It's, I don't know. It's, you could speculate for days, right? But
sure.
I think
it's pretty safe to
say. If we're betting men, I'm betting on the Dodgers.
We're betting men.
That's why
we're doing this dance.
Manly men doing manly bets.
I mean, if we're doing manly bets, we'd be taking the 2.5 run line. But we're just we're men in training. I don't have all my buttons undone here. I just have
exactly.
But again, we're going to take the LA Dodgers run line minus 140. So very similar bet to what we found with the San Diego Padres. So we were able to find that obviously the most value for your money are in some of these sports books that have them by more than 2 runs at the 2.5 run line. But we were able to find some really good value at a 1.5 run line, and that is minus 140. Also on Bet99. So having the Dodgers and the Blue Jays on the run line for a Bet99, that's a nice little 2-team parlay that you might be able to put together. So keep that in mind as we're now approaching our final bet. And this is a fun little one, especially because as we record Thursday nights and are speculating on games and talking about games that are going on Fridays and Saturdays, we don't often get player props to be able to sprinkle a little bit of change on. So we actually have a fun one for you here, and it's taken Pete Alonso. home run anytime at plus 290 on Caesars Sportsbook. Also a great sportsbook as well. Shout out to Caesars putting together a hell of a book. But Pete Alonso, home run, plus 290. So that's fun. If you got a $5 bill burning a hole in your pocket, throw it there. And it's funny. I just want to kick this over to you, George, because you have some interesting information. Just looking at Pete Alonso's history over the last few weeks, or just even like he's been cramming, he's yamming dingers.
This is our professional analytics department.
Yeah,
department.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Our baseball insider.
Visual analytics. All right. I think he's due up for a hit. All right.
Yeah. Due up for a dinger. But you were pulling that up though, and just looking at his stats.
We were looking back, and I'm looking at Pete Alonso, and I'm looking at his last 7 days and how he does things in 7-day chunks, 14 chunks, right? Based off home runs. And he's got a little bit of a sexy, well, not for him, but he's got a little bit of a sexy gap since he's hit a home run. His last 2 times that he's broken out into a little bit of a streak, he's had that same 7-day little gap. And then on the 8th day, boom, dinger. So
yeah, love it.
I would love to say that we might be seeing a trend here, or we might be kind of leaning on the baseball gods to say, I got a really good damn feeling that he's going to break out of this home run list streak just because he's been so consistent. He's got 29 jacks this year, good protection in his lineup. I think he rips one for sure. Well, not for sure, for Showsy, but for, I don't know.
For the value behind that, I mean, like,
I like the value. Yeah.
And
it's fun.
Through 7 days, Pete Alonso without any home runs, but on the 8th day, Pete Alonso delivers.
He will be delivered.
He will be
by
delivering.
Ned Flanders. Yeah,
man. I mean, hey, that's just enough. It's a fun little bet that we're just going to throw in at the end. We found this on Caesars Sportsbook and highlighted it through the player prop tool that is available on Betstamp as well. Up against Suarez, who is a very good pitcher, 8-5 this year, with a 3.68 ERA. You can definitely look into what are Pete Alonso's stats against Suarez over the last year or so. How has he been hitting against him? But you know what? Plus 290, that's fun. Great return on that, and I think he might be due. He might be due. It is the 8th day, so we're gonna try and cash in on that and throw it in as a Pete Alonso dinger. At plus 290 available on Sports Interaction, and that could be a home run at any time that game. So it doesn't have to be within those I guess the 9 innings. It could happen in extra innings as well. So there it is. Those are our picks. But we're gonna tie a nice little bow on this all for you here with our ding ding ding. Bingo, bango, bongo, the pick and roll, brought to you by Betstamp, where we use the Betstamp app and find those best odds available across all the different sports books, and by Yup Beer, only 100 calories and very fresh and crushable. Find Yup Beer at yupbeer.com and find a location near you as I take a sip of this Alexander Keith.
It's okay. You're away in Montreal. You're allowed.
Yeah, you're out of the Ontario Yup.
Yeah,
there it is. Yeah. Yeah, they can't get mad at me over here unless it's in French. All right. Kicking off, we're going to take the Toronto Blue Jays on the run line, plus 115, available on Bet99. That run line is only at minus 1.5. We're also going to take the San Diego Padres run line again, taking minus 133, available on Sports Interaction. Again, the run line is only a run and a half there. Then we're also going to take the LA Dodgers run line, minus 140, Bet99. Again, finding that run line at only a run and a half, followed by a Pete Alonso home run anytime Friday night. Cash it in, plus 290, available on Caesars Sportsbook. One more time, George Lambrakos. Georgie boy, buddy, missed you, man. Missed you. This is great. We had to get you in during the dog days of summer. And obviously, hopefully Blue Jays, figure everything out, and we're talking playoff baseball. We're talking October baseball, and it would be great to have you back on to talk a little bit about that as well.
Hell yeah. I'm going to book a preemptive trip back to T-Dot for October, because I got a feeling, and it would be a shame if I was over here and they were in playoffs. I couldn't live with myself, so I need to be in the stadium.
Yo, man, you know what? Like I was saying on the last show, man. Like I went down with my pops to go watch a game. I went to go take them to the Cardinals game because that's our other team. and to see the Jays and the Cards like squaring off on a Tuesday evening with more than 30,000 fans in the stadium on a Tuesday night, man, that was nice. So
yeah,
I mean, like there's definitely a bit of a buzz going on in the city. I mean, that's just from me coming down and visiting from London. But yeah, the Blue Jays they're playing pretty decent baseball. You know, and it's just an exciting time. So so here's to that. Here's to October baseball. Let's see how the Jays fare this weekend series as they take on the Guardians. But other than that, make sure you like, share, subscribe. This episode will be available anywhere that you get your podcast. So if you don't want to be watching us on your morning drive to work on YouTube because you got to keep your eyes on the road, we have audio. So go find it on wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, smash that subscribe button, all that sort of jazz. I feel weird doing that and having to do that for all these YouTube episodes, but here it is. Just make sure you like, share, subscribe, and make sure you check out betstamp.app/Ontario and use promo code DB2, or just throw that DB2 referral code in on the app. Other than that, boys, great catching up with you. I got a dinner rezo I got to run to. En français. Au revoir.
Au revoir. As in BC, they say later, bud.